See, anyway, guys, you have to understand something about the people of the past that were in your life, and that people, in terms of life, in terms of people that were in my life. And you have to understand something about them. You have to understand that they go around people, especially people of the past, in terms of my life, go around people trying to teach other people stuff. And they try to teach people stuff in terms of their life. But the thing is that those people around them don't want to learn from those people as much. And that's why they're losing. They're losing because they're not speaking words. And you have to understand it's more how they're not trying to go away from that crowd. Apparently, they're always in the same crowd, doing the same thing, doing the same old, with the same crowd all the time, with the same faces, with the same things in terms of life that's happening for them. And they're getting criticized by these people. And as soon as they try to step up and raise the bar on people, people put them down and degrade them. You know what I'm saying? And how do people degrade people? They degrade people by criticizing them in terms of what they're doing, because you cannot succeed around them. Apparently, you cannot succeed around these people. And yet, apparently, you can only succeed alone. You understand? Because if you go around other people, regardless of who they are, and if you speak your mind to them and you fully be who you are in front of them, actually they're going to criticize you regardless of who you are. Do you understand? Because they're unwilling to listen. And you have to understand that these Serbian people of Australia, in terms of the Serbian community in Australia, in Sydney, and the Sydney Siders, I promise you, when you go around them and you start preaching to them something, they're going to turn you down. They're going to start to backlash at you, like that you don't know anything and that you're not someone great in front of them. And that's a social that's a social stigma that's going around Serbian people of life here in Australia, or any kind of community. When you find yourself teaching much more than other people in front of other people, I promise you what happens is they don't find you anything much more massive than them, and they don't call you greatness. Do you understand? So the thing is that you have to understand something, that there's a social stigma going around you right now. And that social stigma is trying to pull you down, to be like the crowd, to do what society does, to go to the 9 to 5, to do things exactly like them. You understand? So they don't want you to be greatness. They don't want you to succeed more than them. Do you understand? But when you're alone, when you go alone, I promise you nobody's going to criticize you. I promise you, except for yourself. I promise you, hopefully you don't criticize yourself in a negative way. I promise you, when you criticize yourself in a positive way. I mean, say good things about yourself, but never be around people who backtrack around you in terms of that gossip about you. Do you understand? So these Serbian people of Australia always gossip about me in a negative way. Do you understand? And that's why I never hang around with them. I never go where the love is not there for me. In a sense, so there's no need for me to go around people except for myself over here, because I only go around people who make me feel respected and who make me feel loved. You understand? And that's the thing I've learned in life, that there are people around you right now who are gossiping about you and who don't want you to succeed. You understand? I promise you. And you have to understand that there's a lot of people out there who have limits. They have limits to what they agree about, and they all like to disagree. Or they like to disagree with you, to cause an argument with you, to make sure that they can be right or wrong. Do you understand? And that's the Serbian people of Australia here. And that's most people, to be honest. But the thing is that when I find myself away from them, I'm much more at peace. I'm much more loving myself. I'm much more happy in the moment, helping myself grow. And you have to understand that, for example, I used to go online. I used to go to this hardstyle community and stuff like that on the forum online somewhere on Facebook. And I used to post my content up there online. I used to show my music to these people. And it wasn't something in terms of music that is something very stunning, but it was very stunning to me. I mean, you have to understand that I was like proud of myself. I want to show someone my work and stuff like that. And I don't do that anymore. You understand? Because all they find things to do is to criticize you about your work. So, for example, these people who I was posting my music to, probably they're always criticizing me, or probably they're always like writing things about my music like, oh, that's shit, or that's no good, or you have to better your kick, or you have to do this, or you have to do that, or stuff like, for example, putting me down. They were putting me down in terms of my music. You have to understand, and they kicked me out of the group and they blocked me. You understand? And that's the best decision of their life, because I don't need them. Do you understand? And you have to understand, it's the best decision of my life that they blocked me on that kind of channel, because I don't seek validation from those people anymore. And I don't seek to go out there and send my content to people, for example, because I don't seek validation from those people anymore. And that's what I've learned. I've learned never to post my content and send it to someone, for example, that's not going to respect it, or that's not going to reply. For example, I understand that people who don't reply to me, I just never talk to them again. You understand? I never need people who just look at my messages. You understand? And you have to understand, I've learned from that. I've learned that no matter how much promotion someone gives you in life, if they don't reply to you, then just never promote yourself to them. You have to understand that, for example, Slobo Shivats, I understand this guy, Slobo Shivats. I send him a message and I say, when's the next splav? And because the splav is like a nightclub that he promotes and stuff like that. And he doesn't reply. So I said to myself, never again am I going to message him. You understand? Because that's not a true friend. I promise you, a true friend replies to you. You understand? A true friend always helps you out. You understand? And he's always ungrateful. I promise you, he's very ungrateful to me in terms of everything that I've done for the world and stuff like that. So anybody who's ungrateful in my life, I just remove them from my life. I just don't talk to them anymore. And I don't seek their validation anymore. I don't seek for them to see my content. You understand? Because they can find me very easily. But the thing is that now, since I'm understanding that I have all the information I need, and I still need more information as well, always. But the thing is that I'm always speaking my mind in some kind of way. And that's the important thing that I want to elaborate on. That when you speak your mind, you can always do things for yourself to help yourself. And that's the most important thing in life, that you're always helping yourself to succeed. Do you understand? So, for example, I understand that there's a long time to go in my life. I understand that there's plenty of obstacles ahead of me that I have to overcome, for example. And you have to understand that obstacle is always to live life much more. You understand? And you have to understand that when you go around other people, I promise you, other people will limit you. I promise you that they will bring you down to their level. You understand? They will try to make you feel stupid. They will try to make you feel like you're not worthy. Do you understand? So that's like, for example, my mum and dad. To some extent, they make me feel like I'm not worthy. Do you understand? And I'm worthy. I'm always worthy. But that's why I stay away from them as much as possible. I do my work as much as possible away from them. And I find my worthiness in myself. And I don't need other people to tell me how good I look, or to tell me anything about life. I don't need their words of encouragement. All I need is myself and my encouragement from myself, in terms of from myself. You understand? So, for example, these people around Australia, I promise you, there's a social stigma going around them. And the thing is that if you try to rebound and do better than them in front of them, they're going to try to drag you down. You understand? So that's what I've learned around these people, and that's why I stay away from them. I stay away from these people because they always want you to chase them, but they never want to chase you. They'll never lift a finger for you, but they want you to lift a finger for them. You understand? That's why I never go around people where I have to lift a finger first. You understand? I promise you, it's much more how I'll go my own way, and people who lift their finger for me, I lift my finger for them. You understand? That's how it's going to be forever now. So that's what I've learned around the Serbian community, to stay away from them. Actually, now there's a Bonnering festival happening in August, for example. I'm not going to go for the first time, since I've been conscious of the event. And you have to understand that I don't want to go there, because those people are going to go there and they're going to cause trouble, and they're going to do something around me and stuff like that. So I just want to stay away from danger. I want to stay away from those people. You understand? Because social stigma. You understand? As soon as they see me, I promise you, it's much more how they start causing trouble. You understand? They start causing problems. They say, "Oh, you said this, you said that, you said this about this and that." I mean, they don't understand my attitude today. I promise you. Yes, I said a lot of things, but look how much I've helped online. Look how much I've done online. I mean, they don't appreciate that. I promise you, they're not aware of that. You understand? But what they are aware about is they are making a difference. I mean, that's what they are aware about. You understand? And when people understand that you're making a difference in life, they're going to respect you far more than other people. So, for example, I'm the only one in my community from the past and present and future that's making content online every single day. You understand? And you have to understand, I'm very consistent in what I do, but they are not doing that. I promise you, everyone I ever met on in my life is not consistent on YouTube and social media. You understand? They're not consistent, and they'll have a private profile. I promise you, they have a private profile. I promise you, they're not doing things in terms of helping people much online. I promise you, they're very selfish people. I promise you, you have to understand they're always willing to take from you and never give back. You understand? So the thing is that I don't want to be around those people. You know, I don't want to be around them at all. I want to be around myself because I understand that I have an unlimited possibility in myself every single day to live the best life possible for me. You understand? So I don't need them. I don't need anything from this world because I've overcome it. You understand? I just need myself. I need my word I, and that's what I need. I see. So anyway, guys, I realize that if you really want to improve, you have to go outside the box. You have to understand to think outside the box. You have to document your thoughts down every single day. You have to understand, stay away from those people and never ever send your content to them. Never send your material to them because they're going to be unappreciative about what you have and they're not going to reply. So make sure you understand that where you see rejection, make sure you never go that way. Whoever rejects you is not worthy of you, and you have to understand that's the way it is. Do you understand? So anyway, guys, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this audio program because that's just something that I want to give back to. I want to give you much more of who I am in terms of life. And yeah. I see. Anyway, guys, the ability to express yourself is the best thing that you can do for your life. So you have to understand that if you really want to help yourself to achieve a greater way of sense of worth for yourself, you have to understand you have to learn, you have to grow. You understand? You have to be learning all the time. But Les Brown said something recently that strikes me, and he said you have to live the way you want to go out. I mean, you have to live like in a way that you want to leave this world. In a way, you live like how you want to leave this world. In a sense, so if you want to leave the world in a better place, then you have to do things necessary today to inspire people with words, to do the best thing possible for everything that you are in life. So I'm understanding that for myself, it's about speaking words, it's about inspiring people, it's about making sure every single day that I do the best job I can for myself and other people, and doing the best always in terms of everything that I do. I mean, that's the most important thing for me. So every single day, taking care of my health, loving myself, living the dream as much as possible, learning to pronunciate with fluency for myself and accuracy, making sure that I'm using all the words of the dictionary every single day, and doing the best thing possible for myself. That's what I need to do all the time in my success. I mean, in a sense, so every single day I'm understanding that if I do anything to succeed, I have to make sure that I produce as much content as possible so that I'm helping as much people as possible. Now, you have to understand I have more videos than Les Brown and also more videos than Bob Proctor, who just passed away on YouTube, and also I have more videos than Brian Tracy, for example. And these people are all millionaires, and I have more videos than them on YouTube. But I'm just 29 years of age, and over the next 30 years of my life, it's going to be an exciting time for me because I'm going to be producing more words, and I have a higher purpose to fulfill. I have something nice and beautiful in my life, just like Les Brown, just like Bob Proctor, just like Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn and Tony Robbins and Grant Cardone and Oshaw and also Brian Tracy. For example, I have these mentors in my life, and I've been reading recently from Les Brown, and I've just been inspiring myself with him and just learning. I mean, just learning that I have greatness inside of me. Do you understand? I have something to say, I have something to speak out every single day. And that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. It's just broadcasting my thoughts as much as possible. And that's what I need to do all the time. So every single day is going to be a new day for me. I'm understanding that positive things are coming into my life now. I'm understanding I have meaning. I understand something also that I realized recently, that if I didn't get fired from my job, I promise you, I got fired many times in my life from my jobs. And now I can count them. I can say one there, one there. I can say another one there. I've got fired at least multiple times in my life. And over 3 times I got fired in my life. And you have to understand that it's much more how if I didn't get fired from those jobs, I wouldn't be where I am today. You understand? But the thing is that it's much more how things are working out for me. And the reason is because I'm not working that 9 to 5 job right now. And the reason is because I'm doing something much more successful where I am not puffing out in the 9 to 5 job to make some money, because I understand that they can never pay what you're worth in a 9 to 5 job. I promise you, they pay you low wages in a 9 to 5 job. And people work for $22 an hour or $8 an hour or 30, $40 an hour. And they believe that's something. I mean, yes, but that's nothing. I promise you, that's nothing. I promise you, I'd rather work for free than work for a paying job. You understand? You must understand, it's not about receiving paychecks or anything like that. Actually, it's more about giving as much as possible. But it's also about understanding that it's much more important to give than it is to receive. You understand? But I'm not saying that receiving is bad. Make sure that you receive everything from the universe as much as possible. And what's given unto you, you shall have. So, for example, I was given girlfriends before. I was given people in my life. And I didn't exactly go for them. I promise you, I didn't exactly chase to have a kid in my life. And now, is that a regret? I promise you, no. I understand I wasn't ready, and I was unaware as well. And I wouldn't be in the place I am today if I didn't reject that for myself. You understand? So, if I had a kid today, I promise you, it's much more how I'd be working on the 5 job, just like everybody else, and trying to survive. Do you understand? But the thing is that I'm thriving in life right now. And the reason I'm thriving is because I'm able to spread information into the universe. See, so the thing is that you have to understand that when you're going through life, you have to always abbreviate as much as abbreviate as much as you can in life, because that's what matters. You have to understand that Les Brown says a lot of things about motivation and stuff like that, so it's important to go and read as much content from him as possible. And I spoke to Les Brown over the phone. He's a nice guy, but the thing is, you have to understand that if you really, really help yourself to do something that's really, really encouraging other people to grow, you're going to be able to go and really, really function in daily life in a better way. So the best way to sharpen your mind and your heart and everything like that is to make sure that you do as much content as possible in terms of speaking words. So speaking much more words sharpens your mind, and then you become much greater. You become someone much more worthy in your life. And also, what strikes me about Les Brown, he says that everyone has a voice. You understand? And everyone needs to use that to their advantage, and that your voice is important. You understand? You have to understand that you always have to recapitalize in terms of everything that you do. You have to self-reflect as much as possible. You need to be able to do content as much as possible so you can live life. You understand? Because you have to understand that the difference between me and those people that are working on a 5 right now is that I have much more content that I'm giving. And since I'm always uploading information online, I'm doing it at a slow pace, but I'm doing it very fast as well. And you have to understand that right now I can transcribe 1001 quotes in 2 days. It takes me 2 days to transcribe one quote book. So if I continue with the next 24 quote books, I understand that 24 times 2, I realize now that will take me about 1 month of work at least to do all my quote books, for example. So that's how fast I'm working to get all my quote books online and stuff like that. So by the time it all processes, I realize that 2 months of working right now at full pace, I understand otherwise it's going to be at least 4 months or 6 months to get my quote books up online. But you have to always understand that greatness is in you, and you have to understand that when you really, really want to make a great legacy for yourself, you'll do anything it takes to make sure that you're healthy and that you're always doing something for the greater good. But Les Brown says something also here where he says that your life is what you're giving toward God. So he says that you are the meaning of something that you're doing in life where you're giving yourself and you're making sure that you're always inspiring people through what you're doing in a way that your life is a gift to God. You understand? So what you do in this life is a gift to God. You understand? So that's what Les Brown says. And that struck me. I mean, I was like, wow. I'm like, yeah. I mean, like, I said, true. I understand. It's much more how that whatever I'm doing in life is a gift to God. So if I smoke cigarettes, then I understand that it's a gift to God, isn't it? You understand? But the thing is that it's not a gift to God. I understand for me, that's not a gift to God. I promise you, what's a gift to God is always being healthy. You understand? And being the best version of yourself is the best gift that you can give God, for example. So you have to understand that I have some motivation from Les Brown here. And the more I read from Les Brown, the better. And I understand that me and Les Brown are on the same path. And he understands that he's doing God's work as well. And he also told me that Bob Proctor recently died, for example. So I understand Bob Proctor is my mentor, for example. But since he passed away, I'm still going to go read his books. I'm going to read his material and stuff like that because he has a lot to do with the law of attraction and mindset and being rich and stuff like that. But he's a great mentor, to be honest. So I understand every single day, just do the best you can. But I never hate anything in life. I'm always someone who is never jealous of anything. But the thing is that I want to always take myself out in a way that I live my life to the best that I can. And I want to make sure that I live in style. I want to make sure that I'm doing work. But the thing is that you have to understand that, for example, back in my life when I was a nutritional coach, and I'm still a nutritional coach, but I don't market that to people as much anymore because they're unwilling to give me money. And as soon as you start trying to charge people for something that you're doing, they back off on you and they don't want to pay you. You understand? So, for example, I had 12 clients, for example, and I understand I was doing all this information work for free with them, and I was like motivating them every single day to live a better life and stuff like that. And you have to understand it's more like they want the information for free. So I said to myself after a certain period of time that I want to charge them, and then I said to them that it's going to cost them $15 a month to be with me, for example, to coach them and to motivate them and stuff like that. And they didn't want to pay up. I mean, they didn't want to offer any money to me to get my information. You understand? So I was like, okay, I learned from it, and I never charge people again. I never charge them again. But the thing is that I have no time to even work on these people anymore because I'm just going to give the information to you. I mean, I'm going to give the information to you for free, and you just go and motivate yourself, and you just go and do what you need to do with that information I give you in all my audio programs. And that way, you have to understand that you are alone in the journey that you live in your life, but you have other people with you on this journey as well. But you have to understand that everyone's alone and everyone's not alone at the same time. You understand? So you are walking your shoes alone. I'm pretty sure you have your own life experiences that's uniquely for yourself. You understand? And everybody has their own unique life. You understand? And you have to understand that we're in this together and the world is one. And you have to understand that the whole universe is abundant. Okay. So you have to understand that because the universe is abundant, you have abundance to some degree, and you're also rich to some degree, and also you're poor to some degree. So if you read more, you're always going to understand much more about life. You understand? So you have to motivate yourself every single day to go and really, really inspire yourself to grow. You understand? Because, for example, Les Brown gave me more meaning in the words he said. And what he said was that you have a passion, you have something that you're going to do in life. And when you have something that you're going to do in life, you're going to be able to have a higher purpose, and you're going to able I mean, and you're going to be able to speak those words, because regardless of how you're doing, you have that passion to speak up with those words. You understand? And because you have those words to speak, that's what changes life, because that's the gift of God that you give to God. And you give that gift to God, for example, and you make sure that you're doing that higher purpose for yourself all day long. And that's what he says. So if you understand that if you motivate yourself through content, in terms of motivational content, the more you read, the more you learn. Do you understand? So for example, it's much more how it is. And I learned also recently that a child, like for example, someone who's 14 years of age, can contact the police and put a one of those evacuation orders for their parents because the parents maybe hit the child and the child doesn't want to take that anymore. So what happens? The child can call the police and file an AVO against the parents and stuff like that, and also leave the house for good and stuff like that. So that's something that I learned recently by Les Brown, and it's much more how reading just makes you more aware about life. Do you understand? So if I was 14 years of age and my parents were hitting me, I can file for divorce from my parents, and I can just call the police and I just say that my parents are hitting me, and since my parents were hitting me, for example, and you have to understand that I can call the police and just be able to, for example, get away from them as soon as possible, and the police can help me do that, for example, even at 14 years of age. But you have to understand that my mum never hit me really, and you have to understand that my dad really was hitting me all the time, and now he doesn't hit me anymore because I'm much more in age at the moment. I can fight back now, and he doesn't hit me. He has no reason to hit me. But the most recent time he hit me for no reason, and I flew off the chair, to be honest, and I didn't want to hit him back. And lucky I didn't hit him back because I wouldn't be in this situation. So I understand that Jesus Christ says if someone hits you, make sure you turn your left cheek again, and just make sure that you just turn the left cheek. You understand? If they smack your right cheek, turn your left cheek too. You understand? And make sure you understand to never hit back. Never hit back life. You understand? Because you can go to prison. You can, even if you're self-defending yourself, I promise you, it's more, if you're in self-defense and you hit back, you have to understand it's more how you can go to prison anyway. You have to understand it's much more how it is. So you have to understand it's much more how I hit a woman, for example, who hit me and I went to jail for it. You understand? And she never went to jail. You understand? Because she's a woman. You understand? So it's much more how the police didn't see her hitting me, but the police seen me hitting her, for example. So you understand? So I'm not a woman basher. I understand that when I hit that woman, it was the first woman I ever hit in my life, and I'm just 29 years of age. But you have to make a difference, guys. You have to be able to make a difference in life to succeed, and every single day doing as much content as possible so you can live your life to the fullest. And what you read, guys, it makes a big difference in your life. Do you understand? So you have to understand that because I read so much, I have much more of a better idea about what I'm doing in life. You understand? I have a much more purpose. I have more purpose because I read more content and I can see what other people are doing. For example, I can see what Les Brown's doing. And I'm doing the same thing, but I'm just doing it at a younger age than him. I promise you, he has about 230 videos online on YouTube, and I have 1,500 on YouTube. You know, so I'm doing much more work than Les Brown in terms of life, but Les Brown had better opportunities than me in terms of public speaking in front of people where other people were paying him money to have his content, for example. But the thing is that I see that content that he gives out and I can do the same thing. I can do the same thing. So why isn't the universe giving me money to do my work in that kind of fashion? Yes, and so it's much more how I asked the universe to give me that money, like like the universe was giving Les Brown, so that I can travel the world too, public speaking, just like Les Brown, for example. So I understand that it's different. I understand the universe is giving me money through disability support pension at the moment, and I'm doing my work slowly. But maybe someone down the line sees my YouTube channel and wants to interview me or wants me to come down somewhere to do a public speaking performance or something like that. But I want to be at my best version when I do that. You understand? So it's much more how it is. I want to be the best I ever have been in my life. But you have to understand that most people are going the road of this way, and they get a mortgage for themselves to pay it off over 30 years, to get the kids, to get the wife, to get the car, to get in debt, for example, and they lose a lot in terms of that life. And that's not the life anymore. You have to understand that the prices of real estate is going up really quick, and more people are desperate for houses. And now the thing is that houses are much more expensive than apartments. So if you get yourself into an apartment, it's going to be much more affordable for you down the track than it is to have a house. So it's much more better to get a mortgage on a apartment than it is to get a mortgage on a house, for example. So you just have to understand that. But it's much more affordable for you to get away from a mortgage altogether and just rent somewhere. Do you understand? So you're not in debt with the bank. Do you understand? Because if you get into a mortgage rate with the bank, then the bank owns your asset until you pay it off. Do you understand? So the thing is that when you're renting, you have to understand it's much more that you can die at any time. So, like, how do you know you're going to live the next 30 years with the mortgage rate? I mean, you may die next year. You never know. So, why would you get yourself into a mortgage rate anyway? You understand? It's not the way anymore. You understand? So, be careful, guys. I understand that for myself, I'm never going to get myself into a mortgage rate ever. But my plan is to live with my parents all my life. So that's my plan at the moment, to live with my parents as much as possible because they soothe the rent for me. I don't have to pay rent. And it's much more affordable for me to do this for myself. And I'd rather have my parents' company with me. I'd rather be accompanied by my parents in life. So that's the most affordable thing you can do, is live with your parents all your life. You understand? Because that way it's more affordable for you and you can travel more and you can do things more this way. And now, I suggest you guys understand something, that if you get on the government allowance, then be on the government allowance as much as possible and travel with the government allowance in your country to places so that you can see your country. And just say that you're moving places, that you're moving to a different spot, that you're moving to a different spot, that you're moving to a different spot. And then what they're going to do is they're going to keep paying you the money while you just travel for a bit and you just enjoy your life. Do you understand? And while you're doing business work and stuff like that, which is important. So make sure every single day that you're doing the best job you can so that you can succeed. So I'm understanding that my life over here, in terms of how I was and how I am now, I understand I'm much more wiser. I'm much more of a developed person in terms of what I speak and what I do. And that's why I make a difference. I make a difference in my life. I do things for myself. I help myself to succeed. But I'm doing a lot of work. I'm doing a lot of information work. And the thing I'm learning about, for example, doing my quotes again and again, you have to understand it's more how I done 34,000 quotes. I uploaded it to my online storage and then I download it into my laptop. And now, why do I download it into my laptop? Because I'm ready to transcribe those quotes into an ebook. You understand? So what I have to do is I have to write everything down again. So I have to write all my 34,000 quotes again into my laptop. You understand? And the thing is that what I've been learning is how my mindset was back then and how my mindset is now, and how the quotes shaped me into a better person. Do you understand? So each quote that I read, for example, I can see a part of my life. I can see a part of my life in terms of what I was thinking in the past and why I was thinking it. You understand? And then I see straight away the improvements of how things change in life. So the more quotes you make, the more you change as a person in the future, and you change in the moments as a person through the quotes you make. And then when you recap on those quotes that you made, you see that those decisions that you made before aren't the best decisions that you made. You understand? And then you learn from it and you say, no, that's not the way it is. You understand? But in a way, I can see what I was saying, but at the same time, there's a better way. You understand? There's a better way than that. And there's always a better way for everything in life. So you just have to find what's better for you. You understand? So every single day, you just make sure that you're learning, that you're growing, and that's what you have to do. So every single day, just focus on a better way of life. You understand? So I understand that when I look at people now, I'm understanding that these people from the past and stuff like that, I see they're all going their own ways. They're all doing their own things in life. I'm understanding you have to always find something to say for yourself. You have to always encourage yourself to talk. And you have to understand that your talking ability is always improving as you talk more. And the more you talk, the more you can reference material and the more you can help yourself to succeed. I see. So that's how it is, guys. So just focus on yourself in a better way. Learn to never procrastinate and just make sure that you're always learning something in life. Because that's the way of life. You have to understand, you have to look inside for help. You have to make sure that you're shaping your mind in the best way every single day, talking about your new experiences every single day, catching up on old material that you can give in your life. So, for example, you have material in your life in terms of information you can give to other people, basing it on your life and experiences. And that's what you need to teach other people. You understand? You need to be able to do that, because that's what Les Brown says as well. He says you have your own experiences, you have your own voice, you have your own type of unique life that you can give to other people in terms of information. You understand? And that's what you teach people about that. You understand? And that's what is changing people's lives, just like he says. You understand? So you have to understand that's very important. You understand? So every single day, make sure that you're reading more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read much more about Les Brown today, and I'm going to make sure that for the next 5 hours, I'm going to do my nice and beautiful quotes, and I'm going to sit over here in my room now. I understand I quit smoking, I quit caffeine. I'm just going to get away from my father because he's going to smoke cigarettes now in front of that living room. And what I'm going to do is help myself to succeed. And what I want to do is get dressed. I want to get dressed. I want to go to the Woolworths over there. I want to get some soy milk and just read something along the way for myself. Read from Blinkist application and just help myself to improve in every single way and shape and form and nothing else. So if you guys have learned anything from this audio program, is just make sure that you're learning every single day to do the higher purpose of your life. You understand? Because that's the most greatest perspective that anyone can give you in terms of life, is to do something that you love. That you do something that's passionate every single day. Because Les Brown says that if you work a 9-to-5 job, then they're not paying you what you're worth. You have to understand that. So make sure you understand that you have to do something away from the 9-to-5 job that's going to help you to do something for free, so that you can do something eventually that's for free, that you love, so that you can get paid for it eventually from the universe. You understand? So that's how you succeed. So anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next program. Anyway, guys, so what you can do during the nighttime while you have the lights off, you can use your phone to torch up the room. So, for example, you can use your phone's torch to light up the room while you are in darkness. So if you're going through your house in darkness, just torch up your phone with light, and you can see with the phone light as you move through darkness. Instead of having to turn on the lights in your house, you can just use your phone's light. So that's what I learned. And also, I have to plan my future. I have to do something to plan my future. So you have to understand that it's much more how things are working out for me in terms of life. I'm going a separate way to everyone else. So it's much more how I need to always develop myself to do the best job that I can for myself, so that I'm growing and so that I'm living life in the moment and so that I'm doing something in my life to succeed. But it's much more how I see at the end of my life, I see what's going to happen is I realize that the age pension is something that may be going away in life, but I'm not going to rely on the age pension to live my life. I understand that what I'm going to do is I'm gonna read much more material, and I'm going to make sure that I get the information as soon as possible every single day to make sure that I can go and have a better outcome in life, and so that I can live my life forward, and so that I can do something to succeed. But that's how it is, guys. And you have to always make sure that you're delivering content somehow. So I understand that all my life I'm going to be delivering content as much as possible, because I understand it helps people, and that's how I give back to the community. But the thing is that with the 9-to-5 job at age 65, I mean, what can I do? I mean, you have to understand it's much more. I can do communication work around call centers or something like that. And I realize it's much more how I can get into myself like this, and I can help myself to succeed. Well, I'm sure that God will reveal everything in time in terms of what I can do, so that I'm succeeding every single day, and so that I can realize that there is more to say and that there is more to do all the time. So I'm understanding that the best thing I can do now is plan in my writing journal, and just make sure that I can help myself do that for myself, so that I can see a straightforward way in terms of life, so I can understand much more about life. So anyway, guys, just make sure that you're always improving yourself much more, and so that you're living life. But that's the whole point, guys. You have to understand that there's always a way forward, and there's always a way to live your life. You understand? So that's what you need to be doing. But anyway, guys, just make sure that you're always living life. Anyway, guys, I want to explain something. I remember when I turned vegan, I was so, let's say, into speaking words, and you have to understand that it's much more than ever now able to express myself in words, and I'm much more developed in my speech. Do you understand? But the thing is that I used to say stuff to meat eaters and people who eat meat, like fucking scums. I mean, you eat meat For example, I mean, you fucking scums, you fucking cockroaches, you're killing people, you're killing animals, for example. And I was like a vegan. I was saying this to people. I mean, you understand? But I was writing it in quotes and I was posting it up online. And I received some criticism for that. And people say, how can you say that? I mean, why would you say that? I mean, you understand? And the thing is that you have to understand that it's just words. I mean, it's just words. I mean, why are you offended about words for? I mean, why do you resent me for saying something like that anyway? I mean, you have to understand it doesn't hurt you to speak words. You understand? So, for example, why do you let words hurt you? You understand? Why do you turn jealous of me? And why do you, for example, criticize me for the words I give? Do you understand? So it's much more how then, once I said those words that all meat eaters and people who eat meat are fucking scums and all that, then I found myself eating meat myself. Then I went from a vegan diet to a meat diet again. And I failed in my veganism. Do you understand? And then for about 2 months, I was eating meat. I was eating meat for 2 months. And I was a vegan for 3 years. And then I turned into a meat eater for 2 months. Do you understand? And now it's much more how those criticisms of what I was saying to people comes lashing back at me now. You understand? It's like, why the fuck do I eat meat for? I mean, why do I even go there? I mean, it doesn't taste good. It doesn't taste good at all. I mean, why am I contributing to the planet in terms of... I'm always contributing to the planet, but why am I contributing to the killing of animals? You understand? For example, and I told my mum I ate meat pie, I ate some sausage rolls, I ate lasagna, I ate cheese, I ate pizza, I ate barbecue meat lover pizza, for example, and I ate schnitzel, I ate all this stuff. And you have to understand, it's more like, why did I do it for? You understand? And the reason is because I wasn't willing to help myself. Do you understand? And that's why. I wasn't willing to help myself in that moment. Do you understand? I fell down. I fell down in my integrity of who I am. You understand? So, never again am I going to go screaming at people, saying fucking scums, fucking idiots for eating meat. Because I understand them now. I understand nobody's criticizing me now for eating meat except for my mum. She's like, why do you go back on your words? You understand? She said it to me in an audio program. And it's much more like, she said also, like, for example, my quotes, that's from other people. You understand? And that some of my quotes came from other people. But the thing is that my quotes are derived from something that I believe in. You understand? So I write a quote in terms of based on what I believe in. You understand? So if I write a quote basing it on someone's reference, I make sure to make it my own in a way that I believe it to be true, but I don't copy them. You understand? I just believe it to be true and I put it into my own words. You understand? So it's much more how, if you want to make a difference in life, you have to always succeed. You have to make sure that you're doing something worthy in your life. So I just quit smoking cigarettes. I quit caffeine. And I'm ready to change my life. I'm ready to do a better job for myself. But that's how I see myself now. So it's much more how I always have to develop myself. I have to make sure that I'm doing things in regards to that for myself. But now, since I'm planning my life every single day, I'm understanding much more about where my life is going with time. I'm understanding that for the next 2 years, it's going to be solely improving myself every single day, doing as much audio programs as possible to help myself to succeed, uploading as much content as possible. And that's going to be my life for a bit. And I'm going to go travel. I'm going to go travel to see my mum very soon. And that's going to be something magnificent for me. But I have to always learn. I have to understand. I have to make an impact. And Les Brown said something recently. He said that your words can impact people. And that your words can inspire people. You understand? Your words can inspire people. You understand? So the more words you give out into the planet, the more you can inspire this world to live a better life. You understand? And that's my purpose. Just like Les Brown. I mean, every single day I understand that the same purpose that Les Brown has, is the same purpose I have for my life as well. But obviously, I want to be doing better. I want to be making sure that I'm always better than myself and not better than anybody else. I want to make sure that I'm better than myself, that I'm living my words, and that I'm doing the disciplines necessary to succeed every single day. That I'm doing something to succeed all the time. Yes, and that's what I want to be doing. I want to make sure that I go back on the vegan track for myself, that I'm a non-smoker again. Or as my birthday's coming up, I don't know who's going to wish me a happy birthday. I don't expect anyone to wish me a happy birthday, except for myself. So happy birthday for me. But I understand God will wish me a happy birthday. And it's much more how you have to understand that God always exceeds your expectations in everything. Do you understand? So it's much more you have to work at life. You have to do something to succeed. You have to make sure every single day that you're doing something to help your life every single day to do the best job you can. Because that's what's important, guys. I see what's important is making sure every single day that you're doing something in your ability to succeed. Every single day. I promise you there's nothing much better than that. So what I made a decision recently also, I'm staying away from poker. I'm not going to go poker anymore because I'm going to start planning my life instead. You understand? And I'd rather plan my life than go to poker. But in case I want to go out somewhere, I will go to the movies. I'll take myself out to the movies instead. And that's going to be much more of something that I can do at the movies, where I can write in my journal while I watch the movie. And while I'm actually doing a nice and beautiful cinema movie, I'm going to make sure that for myself that I can just journal things down for myself and help myself this way. But I'm understanding that everyone's loving you right now, and you have to understand that everyone has something for you in terms of life. You have to understand that everyone's in this life making you stronger. I mean, you have to understand why that is. Because, for example, I see this woman over here on Instagram, for example, and I hooked up with her once, like I kissed her once. And she posts a lot of content, for example, about her travels and her traveling and stuff. And it's nice to see. I mean, when you see someone successful, it's nice to see that. In a sense, so it's nice that she posted all that stuff because it makes me care. And the thing is that it's the same thing that I understand for my Instagram and for my YouTube channels and everything that I've done on social media. I understand that I make a big impact. And how do I make a big impact? I make a big impact through words. Because words is the gateway. Words is your documentary. I mean, words is something that really lifts you every single day. So if you speak your words every single day and you live by your word and you never go back on your word, I promise you, you'll live the best life possible. In a sense, so it's up to you. I mean, if you want to live your word, I promise you, you're going to have the best life. So that's what you want to be doing. That if you say something, you do it. You understand? What you say is what goes. What you make out of your life is what you are, in terms of thoughts. You understand? So you have to create more thoughts into the planet by documenting everything down, by journaling everything down every single day, making sure that you become much more aware about everything. And you have to understand that I haven't slept for 24 hours. And I have an election day over here in Australia between Scott Morrison and Anthony Albanese. And I'm going to vote for Anthony Albanese because he's a new president. And it's more how it's someone new. I realize Scott Morrison is old at the moment. I understand he is the current president of Australia in 2022. But I'm going to vote for Anthony Albanese to give him a chance. You understand? And that's it. Because Scott Morrison has already been president for 4 years. So let Anthony Albanese have a chance now. And now I understand it won't be, let's say, easy with Anthony Albanese. I understand that he also lacks some ability in his life to prosper. I understand that. But the thing is that everyone lacks something except for me. I don't lack anything in life, to be honest. But some people lack stuff. And now, does Anthony Albanese lack something? Well, he does lack leadership. But at the same time, he also has leadership at the same time. In a sense, so I understand that for myself, I don't lack anything. I'm not lacking anything in my ability. I have all the good words to say to myself every single day. I'm understanding that what I want to do is to make a documentary of myself every single day, do as much content as possible, lift people as much as possible, be my own persona, give you my whole heart every single day, and just see where life takes me, because I understand God's gonna do some magnificent work in my life. You understand? And God's already doing that for me in many ways. I mean, He's letting me be on the disability support pension. I mean, He's letting me do my work. For example, He's letting me do a higher purpose work for myself over here. I mean, the universe is gonna collide with me in a way that the universe is gonna help me to succeed. And I'm gonna go through life without university, for example. So me and my mum were talking about university recently, and she said to me, "Go to university." And I said to myself, maybe, I'll see. And then I realized in my nice and beautiful planning journal, I said to myself, I won't go to university because I don't want to be in debt. I don't want to be in debt that much for university, for education. Because I can get I can get all that education for free. You know, I can get all that information for free somewhere else, and I can do my social working right now. I'm pretty sure this is all social work. You have to understand. The social work is all about life coaching. You understand? So the thing is that when you go into that department where social workers work and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure then you see all these mental health patients and stuff like that. You cannot teach these people much. I'm pretty sure you can add some inspiration here and there, but it's up to them. I mean, you have to understand it's up to them if they want to change. You cannot change anybody, but you can give them information. That's what you can do. I mean, you have to understand that sometimes people react in a negative way to your information. You understand? So those people, you can never help them regardless of anything. You understand? Because they take offense to your words. And those people who take offense to your words are criticizers of you and haters of you and jealous of you. You understand? So I understand that the best thing I can do now is just words. Every single day, expressing my thoughts into the planet as much as possible. Uploading as much content as possible now is my primary goal now, and to produce content as well. So I have to upload all these content online for myself to succeed. For myself, I have around 2,000 YouTube videos at the moment, but on YouTube right now there's 1,500. I still have 500 videos to upload online, and it takes a while. I mean, you have to understand that by the time it processes, by the time it goes up into YouTube, it takes at least 1 hour per video, for example. So 8 hours a day or 10 hours, I can upload 10 videos a day to YouTube, for example, which is 10 hours of my life every single day. And you have to understand that because by the time it processes, by the time it uploads to YouTube, it takes 1 hour per video to go up on YouTube. Do you understand? So that's with the processing time with the UCut application that I use. I use the UCut application for all my editing for YouTube stuff. And when I upload any podcast to my YouTube, I upload in the lowest quality form because it's just audio program. So my photos on my podcast channel, in my YouTube channel, my life coaching podcasts, have a blurry, let's say a little bit of a blurry image to it once you press on the video. Then it will show my image, but it's a bit blurry because it's a low resolution type of video. You understand? But that's how I work faster like this. And it's much more easier for me to distribute my audio programs like this online. So it helps me to succeed this way. Because the photo of me on my video in audio programs is not important, but the thumbnail is important. And the thumbnail is real resolution. I mean, but once you click on the video, then it will take you to a bigger image of that thumbnail on my YouTube, and it's like a low resolution photo. You understand? So it's a bit blurry, yeah, but you can still see me. So I upload my videos, in terms of anything that's videos, into 420 pixels, I think. yeah, 420 pixels of resolution on high quality with videos, because videos you can see me properly, and it's a nice resolution for you to be able to see me. So that's what I do on YouTube. So anything in terms of words or anything in terms of motivation that I can do for you, I try to do as much as possible. I try to give you as much as possible, but it's your choice if you want to learn or not. You know what I'm saying? I gave you the information. I gave you all my information as much as possible. And you have to understand that I used to also live in Curtin Street over here in Cabramatta, next to Sydney, Australia. And that's where my dad was bashing my mum as well. And when I remember the days where my dad was gambling in front of me and stuff like that. And he would take me to the TAB in here in Australia, which is the horse racing. And he would tell me which number to pick. And I would pick a number, and that number will win. I'm pretty sure the horse will win because I said that number. And then we would lose $300 or something like that. And then my dad would blame me for the money lost, for example. So those were the days of me and my dad going to the TAB. We would go to this place called Avila. We'll go to Avila, for example. And Avila is a restaurant. It's a Serbian restaurant where you can play chess, you can play cards with people. And it's just a coffee shop kind of thing. It's a restaurant inside doors. And I used to go there with my dad. We used to walk it from McBurney Road. We used to walk it from McBurney Road because I used to live in McBurney Road here in Sydney, Australia, next to Cabramatta. In Cabramatta, actually. And you can always just understand your past memories and stuff like that. But I remember also that when I was a kid over here, that I'm still a kid, but when I was like around 6 years of age, this little kid threw a stick of a 2x4. He threw a 2x4 50 meters with a nail in it, and it landed right next to my left eye. You know what I'm saying? And luckily that nail didn't penetrate my eye, otherwise I would be blind. So I had to get stitches underneath my left eye. And that's something from my story. I was fully bleeding, but I didn't feel any pain. I didn't feel any pain once that nail penetrated my bottom left of the eye. Do you understand? So it didn't penetrate my eye exactly, but it penetrated my bone just underneath my eye. And I didn't feel any pain when I pulled the nail out of my bone. So I'm sure that if you have a scan, if I have a scan of the skull of my face, you can see that nail. You can see the hole of the bone because of the nail. So that's something new. And it's just I'm every single day just explaining my story here and there, just a bit for everyone to understand. And I used to dance folkloric festival. I used to go to Serbian dancing. I used to dance with women and stuff like that. We used to be a crowd of people who loved each other and always took care of each other, and used to have laughs and stuff like that. We used to have fun with each other, and we used to go to soccer as well. I used to play for a soccer team called White City soccer team. and in Serbian it's called Belgrade. So it's much more how in this soccer team we won in the under 8s, we won the premiership, and then from that point we never ever won a premiership ever again. But that was a good team, and I had good fun playing soccer with people. And I remember when my dad slapped me in the face real hard because I cut the corner while I was running across the field. And it's much more like you have to do laps around the field. And I was cutting corners, and my dad slapped me for that. So anyway, guys, you have to understand that my dad was trying to discipline me for that, but that's not how you discipline your kids. You never slap your kids, you never hurt your kids. Do you understand? Because if you hurt your kids, then your kids are always going to remember that. You understand? So over here in Australia now, it's in Busby over here, Sydney, Australia, Busby area. It's raining, pouring rain outside. I'm indoors right now, I'm speaking words, I'm helping myself to succeed in some way, explaining my story here and there. But that's what you guys need to do also. And I don't need a cigarette, So I'm learning to succeed for myself. I think also that it's almost time for bed as well, for me to go to bed. But that's what you need to do, guys. You have to believe in yourself. And now, do I feel alone right now? I feel alone. But the thing is that I don't feel lonely because I have my words. I replace loneliness with words. You understand? I always understand that I always have my words to speak, and that my words never need loneliness. You understand? So it's much more how I'm always succeeding anyway. But you have to always grow. You have to always find things to say. You have to develop yourself in ways that you can only grow. And the more you grow, the more you can be someone in life. So that's what's important. So anyway, guys, I understand that if you really, really understand something about life, you'll really grow for yourself. You'll really do something to succeed. And that's all you have to understand. And you just have to always help yourself to grow. Yes, and you have to always find something to say. But I understand anyway, guys. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this audio program. Do I have anything else to give you in this audio program? I probably should know. I probably should just let it be for now. And I hope to see you guys in my next audio programs and my next type of material. So see you guys very soon. See you guys, so what do I want to teach you today? I mean, today's a new day for me. I'm doing things in terms of quotes over here. I'm uploading my content online very slowly. And I'm making improvements in my life in some way. And now, for example, I stayed away from pizza for about 14 days now. I stay away from McDonald's for about 50 days now. And I stay away from cheese for another 14 days as well. So I'm slowly making an impact. For example, I make myself do things where I grow. And I stayed away from masturbation for about a week now. And I'm helping myself to do better for myself in all areas of life. So that's what you guys need to do. You have to stay away from masturbation, because your semen is something that gives you energy, for example. So you ladies out there who are masturbating, you have to understand that there's better things to do than to masturbate and to go for pleasure. So try to delay pleasure from your life as much as possible, and try to delay what's going into your mouth, for example, because you have to understand that the more you delay gratification, the better you're going to feel in life, the better you're going to do things, and the more you're going to have much more wisdom about it. So it's much more how you have to understand that you have to go the path of the unknown ability. Do you understand? You have to go and make sure that every single day you're speaking your life into words so that you can make a difference, because that's what everyone's doing, and that's what you have to do also. And you have to understand that not many people are speaking words in a way that they want to impact the world in a positive place. I'm pretty sure what they're doing is they're lost. I mean, these people are lost. I mean, they don't understand what their passion is. Actually, they have no passions. Do you understand? So you have to understand that your passion has to be words. You have to understand to always, every single day, elaborate much more on your story, elaborate on who you are, give ideas as much as possible to be able to grow and find foundation in who you are. So, for example, I feel that no matter what, that in my life over here now, that I'm doing better in some areas. The thing is that I'm also trying to discipline myself to do better in all areas, so that I can help myself to grow for myself. So every single day I understand that now, since I'm actually always growing, I'm always developing myself in the best way. And I'm understanding that I need to always grow. I need to make sure that I'm reading content. I have to do my quotes. I have to make sure that I sit down properly and just every single day chip away at my quotes and upload content every single day from now on. That's what I need to do more often, because eventually I get to the stage where I uploaded all my quotes, I uploaded all my audio content online, and that way I'm making a beautiful impact in the world in a positive direction. And that's what I want to do. I want to get to that place. I want to understand much more about everything that I'm doing. So the thing is that eventually when I get to that place where I want to be in life, I promise you it's much more how from that point forward I'm going to be able to do things in a greater way. I'm going to be able to see much more of life. I'm going to do things in the best kind of manner forward. So that's what I need to do. So, for example, I understand that if you want to do anything to impact the world, guys, you have to understand that you have to talk it out, and you have to understand every single day is going to be a new day for you. So make sure you're always impacting the world in the best way possible, so that you can understand much more about how to grow, because that's what I do and that's my job. I realize my job is always to spread information as much as possible so I can live my life. And yeah, I understand that it's much more how it is. So you have to always develop yourself anyway, and you have to understand that if you do that for yourself, you always find things to do. You always make sure that you're always living life to the best possible ability that you can. So that's what you need to do all the time. So for myself over here, I'm understanding that I'm not bored. I'm understanding I'm speaking words. I'm making sure that I'm learning something about life. And I'm always never bored because I'm either speaking words or I'm uploading content for myself. And that's not boredom for me. I mean, that's work. You understand? That's my work. And that's what I do. So because I do that for myself, I understand that it's much more of a slow process. I understand how slow it is to upload content and stuff like that, but slowly and steady wins the race. Do you understand? So you have to understand that I just voted for Anthony Albanese over here to win the election in 2022 for Prime Minister, and that's what happened. He won the election. So new Prime Minister over here in Australia is Anthony Albanese. He's the 31st president of Australia, and I understand that it's much more how it is. So you have to always understand that every single day is going to be something new for yourself. So you always have to make that positive impact in life so that you can actually grow. And you have to understand that you have to do the best job that you can to succeed because there's no other way, guys. You have to do everything in terms of life where you can speak as many words in the planet as possible so you can document yourself as much as possible so that you're living life to the fullest every single day is what you need to do. Do you understand? So that's my purpose. I realize my purpose is to explain more, to live more, to see more. Do you understand? To have much more of everything that I need for myself to grow because that's how I actually see life. So, for example, my mom wants to take me to Sarajevo over here, and she's going to take me to Dubrovnik as well in Croatia. And I understand that Sarajevo is in Bosnia Herzegovina. So it's much more how my mom has a house over there in Mostar in Mostar, which is a city in Bosnia Herzegovina. So Sarajevo is very close by, and so is Dubrovnik. So we'll be able to travel there, and then I'm gonna go back to Germany, and then get the flight back to Serbia, and then I'll get to see my family over there. So it's gonna be a nice experience with my mum. And every single day, I'm understanding that I need to do content. I need to drive content into the universe every single day, doing the most work I can for myself. I'm understanding that that's what I need to do for myself to grow. And that's the important thing every single day is that you're always growing, that you're making sure that every single day is going to be the best day for your life. Do you understand? So it's much more how I'm understanding that when I speak words, I'm always developing myself. Do you understand? So what I need to do also is I have to do my synonyms and antonyms. I understand I have to grow my language, and that way I'm understanding it's much more for my pronunciation and for my elaboration to be able to grow and to see something where I can do some music production as well so I can help myself to grow. But I'm understanding that first of all, I just want to watch other people grow in terms of music production, and I want to help myself to do that for myself. And it's much more I need more information regardless of what's happening in the world, and that way I'm always growing. So anyway, guys, I understand it's much more always grow yourself and make sure that you become your best version because that's the only important thing in life, that you're always helping yourself, that you're always growing the most you can so you can help people. You understand? That's what you need to do. So it's much more how I'm always lifting myself. I'm lifting myself to the best extent possible every single day. I'm doing the most I can for myself to grow, and that's all you have to do. You guys have to just focus on yourself and nothing else. So when you focus on yourself, you'll be much more kind in terms of life. You'll be much more of who you want to be, and that's the whole point of living life to the fullest. You understand? So anyway, guys, I hope that you understand that you have to grow, and you have to understand that this audio program in terms of life, I understand that it's much more how it does help to some degree. So it's much more how I want to help myself to elaborate much more so that I can live my life and so that I can actually grow myself, because there's nothing much more important than that. So every single day I'm understanding that the more I talk, the better for me. And that's what I need to do all the time so that I can really live my life to the best degree. So for example, I understand that I can write in my journal now, and I can go and help myself to just see life much more. I need to add value to myself somehow, and that comes from within. I'm pretty sure all my knowledge comes from inside of me, from all my experiences. And because I always experience life to the best I can in terms of my ability, I'm understanding that's why I'm always growing. And that's the most important thing. So, anyway, guys, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this program and see you guys in my next programs. Hi guys, so I want to explain something that when you're down and out in terms of life, when you're so down in life, when you have hit rock bottom in some areas of life, it's those who are in your life at that time that are most important to you. So, for example, when you hit rock bottom, I promise you, those who are around you and those who mean the most to you have to be someone in life who's around you. So you have to understand that it's much more how you only ever find true love in yourself, but you only ever find your true friends from the ones that are around you in any given moment of time. So, for example, if you have no friends, then make yourself your friend. You know what I'm saying? Because you are going to go and live on your own and you're going to live by yourself and you're going to be able to go and capitulate and capitalize on your thoughts, and you're going to be able to do stuff with yourself every single day, and you're the only one living in your own body. So what you do, you have to understand that you have to take care of yourself every single day of your life. But what I want to say is that in times of difficulty and in times of adversity, those who are still around you and who are pulling you up are your greatest mentors and your greatest friends. So for example, there's bad sides to everything and there's also good sides to everything. Do you understand? So you always have to look at the both spectrums of life. So for example, my mum today, I promise you, she's not much of a motivator to me, but she also does motivate me at the same time. So for example, she said recently, I said to her, "Hey mum, I have 10 books online that I've done." She's like, "Do you want a medal for that?" I mean, she didn't motivate me here. And then she said, "Do you want a medal for that?" I mean, she didn't make me feel anything special. Like, she didn't make me feel like, oh, I have a mother that supports me in that kind of way. Yes, and she said, "Oh, do you want a medal for that?" I mean, like she's jealous or something. You understand? Like, you have to understand that if she said something great, Danny, I want you to keep going. I want you to keep making more books out of yourself. I promise you, that's what I was looking for in that moment. Yes, I was looking for some admiration. I was looking for some motivation here. But that's why you never seek motivation from other people. You understand? Because they will disappoint you. So, for example, my dad today, I called him over here and I told him that Putin, in terms of President Putin, banned 1,000 people from entering Russia from America. So, anyone who's in that list of Americans of 1,000 people. So, for example, Putin banned 1,000 Americans from entering Russia, around 1,000 people. And Donald Trump was not on that list. And I told him that, and he's like, "Is that why you called me?" I mean, he didn't motivate me here. You know, saying he didn't say, "Oh, is that right?" I know that already. I mean, he already knew that. He already knew that. The thing is that he didn't say, "Oh, that's great." I mean, it's not that it's great. It's more like he could have said something like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that," or "I knew that already." Or, I mean, if you knew that, why didn't you tell me? Do you understand? I mean, why didn't you communicate that to me? So other people are not going to communicate to you what you want out of life. Do you understand? So you have to understand that when you seek motivation from other people, they're not going to give it to you in terms of what you want out of words. I promise you, words go many ways. So you can never find the words of what you want from other people. You can only find it from in yourself to give it of yourself. So, for example, if you want motivation, you say, "I'm motivated today to do the best I can. So keep going, Danny. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. And I'm going to make sure every single day that you always have more in your life. I'm going to make sure that you're always rich and prosperous in life so you can do better." And you can only ever say that to yourself. But you can never expect other people to say that for you. You can never expect other people to give you the words that you need. Do you understand? Sometimes my mum, in terms of conversations, at the end of the conversations, she just hangs up and without saying "I love you." You understand? So what I've learned in life is never expect other people to give you words of the words that you want out of life. You understand? Because they're not going to motivate you like you're going to motivate yourself. And they're not going to do much for you like you're going to do for yourself. You understand? So, for example, my dad motivates me in a way that he pays the bills. I mean, he buys food and drink. For example, like, you have to understand, my dad doesn't understand the food and drink that I eat much, but he lets me be. He lets me eat whatever I want to eat. For example, you know what I'm saying? That's a good thing. So always let your children eat what they want to eat in that moment, but never criticize them for going back on their word. You know what I'm saying? If somebody goes back on their word, then make sure that you're somebody who uplifts those people to get back on track. In a sense, so I've been a hypocrite, for example, in some areas of my life, and I admit it. I mean, you have to understand that there's been times where I've been having a shit attitude. I had a shit attitude toward other people because I was vegan, and I was putting people down who were meat eaters in terms of, oh, you fucking scums, you eat meat and stuff like that. And then I found myself eating meat, for example. You understand? And I found myself having a reality check here. I was like, oh, I mean, I understand them. I understand why they eat meat because they are unaware. They're unaware about that. Do you understand? And then recently, I was like to my mom, I want to be a vegan. I want to be a vegan. And then I found myself eating sausage rolls. You understand? And then I said to myself, oh, Danny, but you say to your mom you want to be a vegan, but then you're eating sausage rolls. I mean, how's that work? I mean, how do you go back on your word like that? Do you understand? So never go back on your word. You understand? So I found myself in situations where I've never been in life. So, for example, I've never been in this position in my life before. Do you understand? So every single moment you'll find yourself in a better position than before in some areas all the time. You understand? You'll always be doing better in some areas in your life. But some areas in life you'll find yourself letting yourself down. And isn't that just a part of life, guys? I mean, isn't it a part of life to do something in your life where you're doing good at some things and you're doing bad at some things? I mean, that's just something that's life, isn't it? I mean, is life just an uphill battle, or is it something that's going up and down, or is it just going down? Apparently, life is all ways, isn't it? Some people just go downhill. Other people are going uphill. I mean, other people are going down and up and down, up and down, up and down until they find their way. But you have a voice and you have to use it. Just like Les Brown says, I mean, you have to listen to Les Brown's audio programs. You have to understand this guy is amazing. I mean, he teaches a lot of things about life. And you have to understand that it's much more how the more you listen into greatness and people who are great to some degree, the more you can be great as well. And the more you can have a great attitude for yourself. So everyone is going by life differently. And because everyone's going through life differently, that's unique. I mean, that's the thing about life, that everyone has their own life. And for example, I see all these people on pornography, for example. I mean, they're having sex with beautiful women, to be honest. I mean, I've never experienced that in my life. You understand? And I don't feel resentful for them. I don't feel jealous. But sometimes I wish I had the same thing. You understand? Sometimes I wish that I have that nature that they do in terms of that. But then I find myself saying, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that in my life because it's not my reality. So, for example, you go on pornography and you see all these people fucking, for example, and the woman or man so beautiful, for example, and I'm just talking for both sides of the story, so maybe you're a woman listening to me as well. So, if you see a man who's so beautiful or a woman that's so beautiful and they're having sex with other people, and then you wish that you were in that position having sex with those people as well, I mean, that's what I feel. You understand? I sometimes wish that I was receiving a blowjob from that woman or having sex anal or whatever it is with that woman, for example. You understand? I have those desires as well. I'm sure Jesus Christ has those desires. I'm sure God has those desires for everybody. You understand? But the thing is that it's more how you have to be intentional with your thinking. You have to lead yourself in the path of greatness. And having sex all day long is not productive. I promise you, what's productive is having a kid. I mean, you understand? So Jesus Christ teaches have sex after marriage. You understand? Only after marriage do you have sex. And I found myself recently. Masturbating, for example. You understand? And it was stupid. You understand? I just felt the urge. You understand? But the thing is that now I'm not going to masturbate for a long time. And I'm gonna make sure that I hold my semen as much as possible, because that's what I need to do to succeed. But in that, I fail sometimes. And I fail in many areas of my life. I've been failing. You understand? But I've only ever been failing in the meat in terms of being vegan, and also in cigarettes and caffeine. And that's it. That's where I fail. But everything else is straightforward. I mean, I'm working on doing better. I mean, do you understand? So the ability to speak my mind through everything that I'm going through, regardless of my story and regardless of whether I'm succeeding or not succeeding, I have the power to change lives. I have the power to give out my thoughts. And that's what enables me. I mean, that's what motivates me every single day. To be able to speak my thoughts into the planet as much as possible helps to change my life in the process. And it helps me to become much more aware about things in my life and my experiences and what I'm going through. In a sense, so every single day when you express yourself every single day, you'll find yourself in better places. You'll find yourself going the path that you never knew before, or you'll find yourself saying something new for a change, or you'll find yourself doing something new that you've never done before. So, for example, recently I was doing some music production, and I made a beat and I made some music, and it wasn't going out for me. I mean, it wasn't working out for me, to be honest. But some things were working out and some things weren't. And I found myself better than yesterday in my music production. I'm doing much better than yesterday. But music production is such a slow learning curve. I mean, you have to understand, everything is such a slow learning curve. Do you understand? But the thing that what is much more attractive to me is that I can speak words for free and I can post it up on the internet for free. And that's my passion. I mean, if anything that I can do is I can speak words. And I found that ability inside of me. And how did I find it? I started slowly. I started slowly to speak words, to go that path, to see what I can manifest in my dreams and my reality of who I am in my words. And then I talked myself so much that I became my best version. And now I'm not even at that point where I was before. You understand? I'm not even at that point in terms of life where I used to really, really look good for myself in terms of image. And now my image looks good right now. I understand it looks good right now and there's nothing wrong with me. But I'm not the same person I was before in some areas. Yes, and some before I was much more disciplined. I'm understanding that my 27-year young individual was much more disciplined than this. And I was much more stronger and being able to, in terms of being able to discipline myself to be vegan and to discipline myself to stay away from caffeine and cigarettes, for example. But since I can speak words, I can do anything. You understand? And the thing about music production is it can get expensive to always get a vocalist. So you must understand this is the point of a music producer, for example. You make music, you post it up online, people don't watch it much. You invest a lot of money into it, and the more money you invest into it, the better you get, but people don't listen to it as much. You understand? So for example, I have to get all these packs and I have to get all these sounds and stuff like that. But the thing is that I lack structure in my life. You understand? Structure about music. I lack a lot of information about music production, which is why I'm always watching other people in terms of how they make music. But then once I watch them, it's much more like I can see what to do, but at the same time, I don't have the sounds. I don't have the sounds that I need. And once I get the sounds, then I don't know how to proceed forward. You understand? So what I really lack is nothing. I don't lack anything in my life because I can fill in the words here and I can understand that the words in my life is what I can give to other people. I can give you my perspective. So my mum recently asked me, like, what can you give a woman? I mean, she said it in this accent, like, she said it in a tone, like an arrogant tone. To me, she's like, what do you have to give to a woman? She said that to me. I said, information. I mean, all I can give is information. So if a woman doesn't want to be with me, that means she doesn't want my perspective in life. But my perspective is everything. I mean, it's everything that I can give in my life. So I can give money, I can give perspective, I can give you better information about things. But is that woman willing to learn from me? Are they open-minded? Are they closed-minded? I mean, in a sense. So the thing is that the reason that women are not with me now is because I was unaware of my life. Yes, and the reason I don't have a girlfriend right now is because I was unaware. I was unaware of what I was doing. You understand? I went through life really, really in a beautiful direction in some areas, but I was much more lacking than the person I am today. And why is that? Because I filled the words in the gaps. I have more words to say. You understand? I have much more complexity and simplicity at the same time to give you as much as possible. So my mind is simple about things, but you have to understand that when you speak a lot of information, try to simplify in your words as much as possible so people understand. You understand? So if you say anything in life, try to simplify as much as you can about life and try to become a minimalist. And what does that mean? You try to do more with less. You understand? So if I go the most affordable way, then I'll make music, I'll speak words, and I'll do with what I have. And I'll just do that for as long as possible to be able to find my way. So that's the thing about life coaching. You can go all directions. You can do as much as possible here. You understand? And what's more worth to you? Is it words or is it money? What do you want out of life? Do you want to speak words or do you want to make money? I'd rather speak words. Because giving out my thoughts in the world is something positive and it's something life changing. So, for example, there is a limit to how much money you can give. But if you look at money in terms of words, then you can become unlimited in the words you speak. You can give as many words as possible every single day. You can speak out your life. But money always runs out in terms of plastic money. Runs out eventually. You understand? And it doesn't make you poor financially if you're broke. You understand? Because you have the words to say. But a woman these days or a man searches for a woman or a man who has a lot of money. And that's natural. You understand? It's natural for that process to happen. But not everybody is for everybody. I see a beautiful woman on TV and I try to compare their reality to my reality and I understand why we won't work out. I understand why those women and those people are just not for me. You understand? They're not for me. They're not meant to be in my path. And now it's much more like they're in my path, but they're not meant to marry me, for example. You understand? They're not meant to give me a kid. So anybody that I've never seen before in life, those are the opportunities. You understand? So what you don't see is something that God's working on. I mean, God's working God's working a miracle in your life right now. And God's giving you all that information. So if you follow the information of God, you'll find yourself on a better path. You understand? So if you want to change lives, it's either you're going to give money or you're going to give words. I promise you now, words are limitless, but money is limited. And now money is not limited either. You can make as much money as possible in this life. But most people in their bank account, I promise you, today in the world, in 2022, most people in the world have less than $10,000 in their pocket right now. You understand? You have to understand that. And why is that? I promise you, because people get themselves into debt. They get themselves a credit. They get themselves with the bank, with the mortgage, with the car loan. You understand? They buy themselves a iPhone with the plan and stuff like that. And they have to pay off the bills. You understand? They have to pay electricity, water bills and stuff like that. You understand? They're trying to get by in life. They're just trying to survive. But what these people are missing in life is words. They're missing a lot of words in life. And that's what I lack the most. I lack the most in terms of words. And now I don't lack in words. I don't lack at all. But the thing is that I have to do more words is what I'm trying to say. I have to express my thoughts every single day. Because the more I express my thoughts, the better I am in terms of everything I do. And the sharper my mind. So when I speak my thoughts out daily, what I do is I sharpen my mind. I see a better way. You know, I see something different in my life, and it helps my attitude to grow. So all I want to really do in my life is better my attitude in the way I speak. You understand? That's all I want to do. But also I want to better my habits as well. And now I've been failing in my habits as much as, I've been failing a lot in my habits. The thing is that I'm willing to grow. I'm willing to help myself to better my habits. And that's all the discipline in the world, is what you speak comes true eventually. So there is a time coming for me where it's going to be a better time. And why is that? Because I can speak those words. I can speak better things in life. You understand? So what's coming up for me in life is more imagination, more words, and more speaking, more information, more growing, more listening, more silence, more breathing, more experiences, more feelings, more ideas, and much more of everything. You understand? And that's abundance. I have abundance to some degree. But how about those people in jail right now who don't have a phone? Apparently, there are people in life who don't have a phone. And those people are either educating themselves or are either stuck in the same place or doing nothing. You understand? And you don't want to find yourself in those positions. You want to find yourself educating yourself every single day about something, but it's a slow process. You understand? I went to high school, I was educating myself here, and what did I really learn in high school? You have to understand, I learned how the people are. You understand? That I learned the experience of that. I learned the experience of sitting in class, watching people laughing, doing nothing, learning something here and there. And my grades in high school were just like somewhere the worst thing ever. Like, you have to understand, in geography I got 7 out of 100. In mathematics I was doing better in mathematics, but English wasn't my thing. You have to understand, I knew English, I knew how to speak English, but I still don't know a lot about English. You understand? And English wasn't my favorite subject in high school. It was more mathematics. Mathematics was much more of what I was looking at in my life. But what did mathematics help me in life? Actually, you have to understand, mathematics in terms of that actually helped me with little in life. Actually, you have to understand that it's really, really how much did you help yourself in life? That is what counts. Do you understand? How much can you help yourself in life? So no matter my ability in life, the only thing that I really, 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 really can do is speak words. I can speak words. Do you understand? I can do music to some level, but I do much better in my words, and I speak much more words in the planet than I do making music, for example. Do you understand? So if I had to say anything, I understand that my music and my passion is my dream. You understand? And so is speaking words. But that's what I have now. I have that now. But I have to go the most affordable way for me. And I have to make sure that I'm making the best decisions for myself. So being stuck in a house all day, doing information work is the best thing. You understand? And it's just growth learning material every single day. Learning, growing by yourself, being alone. You understand? Being in silence, peace, and quiet. And that's what you need to do. You understand? Sometimes you don't want to go out anywhere. Sometimes you don't want to take yourself out anywhere because it costs money. You understand? So, in order for you to have more money in your life, you have to invest more money. You understand? That's the law of averages. That the more you invest your money into things, the more you'll learn about money. You understand? The more you understand money. You understand? So money is going all ways, and you have to understand words can speak everything, and you can change people's lives like this. Just by your information, you can make much more people aware, and that's what you're meant to do in this planet. Pressure, that's your purpose. Your purpose is to make the world around you much more aware about everything, and that's what a life coach does. So if you want to better the life that you have to speak the words of that. You understand? So you have to understand that the words shall set you free. You understand? So if you have a limited amount of words in your dictionary, then start to go and attract much more words. But if you lack the ability to speak, it's because you lack vocabulary. You understand? You understand? Because those people who are doing drugs, for example, are lacking in some way. You understand? They're lacking the action. You understand? To do their life much better. You understand? That's what's happening in my life now. Because I'm drinking caffeine, I'm smoking cigarettes, you understand? And I lack that action to do my life much better. But besides that, I can speak words. I can still change lives. You understand? I can still show you the best way. Don't drink caffeine. Don't smoke cigarettes. You understand? Because it can get difficult for you to quit and to stay quit. You understand? So if you want a better life, I can show you the best life. But you have to walk it. Just like I do. I have to walk it as well. You understand? I can show you the way, and that's what I've been doing in my life. I've been speaking those words. I've been speaking the words of the best life possible. You understand? I gave all that information. And you have to understand how much information I gave. I only gave a little bit of information. You understand? It's just a little bit of information compared to what you can do. You understand? But the more information you give out into the planet, the more you give your perspective, and the happier you are. You understand? That's how you become happier in life. You say stuff, you say things. You understand? You treasure things in life. You help yourself to be grateful in life, in daily life, doing things that is happening in terms of happening for you. I mean, everything's happening for you. So the difference between now and then, right now, is your ability to speak words. How much words can you interest the planet with? How much words can you speak out? You understand? Because when you speak out, you can always make a difference. And that's what you need to do. See, and you guys have to understand that when you find yourself in boredom, that's the moment of time where you speak more words. You just try to find something to say. You try to find something to do. You understand? Because life sometimes can get boring. It can get boring sometimes, I admit. Sometimes I get so bored in life. Like, what else can I do? Sometimes I don't feel like doing my quotes. I don't feel like writing. I don't feel like doing anything. You understand? And then I sleep. I sleep instead. Out of boredom. Do you understand? And when I find myself in these situations, I have to push through. I have to make sure I push through somehow. You understand? Because sometimes life can get really boring. So you have to find a way to help yourself to become an enthusiast in that moment, to enthusiastic yourself, to be much more enthusiastic about life. Do you understand? Because yeah, you can make a difference. You can make a difference through the word you speak in life. And your words really change as you go along in life. You make a difference. You make yourself much more vulnerable. I mean, you understand? You make yourself much more vulnerable in life to do things for yourself, to capitalize on what you do and see. And you make a difference, you understand? But I see why people are not with me. You understand? I see exactly what is happening in life because I can see the words of that. I mean, do I need their words? I promise you, guess what? I promise you it's different, but I don't need their words because I can speak my own words. You understand? I mean, if there's anything to learn in life, it's what you speak. I mean, what you speak is what you do. You understand? And you have to live by that. You have to live by your own words every single day. And you have to understand that every single day that you always penetrate who you are in every single day of your life. You do things for yourself. You help yourself grow. You understand? But I see many people are lacking. I see many people are lacking certain abilities, especially words. You understand? They lack money and words. You understand? There are poorer people out there than me in life. I promise you, they have less money than me. I promise you, they have less time freedom than me. I promise you, they have less words than me. And those are my friends, for example. Like, you have to understand, my friends have much more money than me in life in terms of plastic money, but they lack the time. They lack time right now. I promise you, they don't have the time that I have. So I'm richer in time than them, and I'm richer in words than them. You understand? I'm richer in teaching than they are. And I'm richer in music. I have much more music than they do in my life. So it's much more, if you compare with other people, compare yourself to yourself only. You understand? You have to understand that when you compare with the world, you can get really, really egotistical in what you say. You understand? But in what you say is not ego. Apparently, it's not ego driven, is it? Apparently, you have to understand that the ego is something that there is no such thing as ego. You understand? Apparently, the ego is something that is you and is not you at the same time. You can never describe what the ego is. You understand? Apparently, the ego is your ability to speak words. You understand? And it's ignorance. I mean, it's something that's ignorance, and it's something that is also that helps you grow. You understand? So you have to understand that it's either you're moving forward in life or it's either you're going backwards in life. So you have to understand that if my quotes, for example, don't make sense, then the more you read from me, the more sense I make. You have to understand sometimes information doesn't make sense. You understand? But in a certain degree of level, it does. You understand? To some degree, you can understand by the information I've given exactly that you can see exactly my attitude toward things and how I was in that space of time and how I am now. You can see exactly the differences. And now I'm doing much better audio programs now than ever before. You understand? And why is that? Because I'm much more invested into who I am. And that's what I'm doing. So if there's anything I can do is that I can speak words. You understand? I can speak words at least. I can give my perspective every single day. You understand? And that's what makes a difference. You understand? But who's listening to me? Seriously. I promise you, someone out there may be listening to this. You understand? I may be changing your life in some way. So either way, it's going on YouTube. I promise you, this audio program is going on YouTube. And maybe you found this on YouTube. You understand? Or maybe someone else shared it to you via some kind of channel. But you came on YouTube to see this. You understand? Or you somehow went on Instagram and found me through Instagram, and then you went into my YouTube channel, and somehow you have to understand that it's either you found me on Instagram or YouTube. Right? Those are the only places that you can find me in life. But what's the difference between me and other people? Information. I have more information than them. I have more information than this whole world to give you. You understand? But the only thing that I can give you is my story. That's the only thing I can give you. That's everything. You understand? I can give you everything. I can give you my story. You understand? I can elaborate on who I am daily. And if you want to change people's lives, you have to change people's lives through words. Because money can change people's lives to some extent. You understand? But words can change everybody. Always. So it's never about changing other people. It's about inspiring other people. You understand? So what inspires the most is giving something. You understand? Giving of yourself every single day. You understand? That's what inspires. So I find myself in a position over here where I find myself doing worse than yesterday in some areas. And some areas I'm doing better than yesterday. You understand? And for other people, you'll never be perfect enough. You understand? You always have flaws in other people's eyes. You understand? But if you show out your flaws, show who you are every single day. Don't be afraid to show everything about you. You understand? And that's what I've done. I post everything on YouTube. I post everything of who I am online. I'm not hiding anything from the world. You can go into my Mega Drive today and see all my fat photos of myself. I mean, I'm not hiding. I'm writing, I'm documenting, I'm showing you exactly who I am every single day of my life. You understand? I've shown you what I've done, who I am, you understand, my experiences, and there's still more experiences to come in life. And that's the richness. I mean, that's rich when you have more experiences. You understand? So you always want to be able to grow yourself in the best way. So you have to let yourself grow. You have to let yourself become much more of who you want to be. You understand? Because that's the difference. That's something that helps your life. So what is going to unlock my life today? I mean, what's going to unlock your life today? But it has to be words. Words is what unlocks you. Words is what breathes you and shows you the way. Do you understand? So you have to always find the way in words. You have to speak as much as possible because that way you inspire. You inspire yourself the most this way. You understand? So you have to always look out for how much words you can give. And be always treasuring yourself every single day, doing the best you can. And that's all for this program, guys. I hope that you've enjoyed and see you guys in my next programs.